Imagine a quiet neighborhood where life is simple. Everyone minds their own business, and familiar faces bring comfort. Yet hiding among them is a man with a horrifying secret, someone hiding behind a mask of normalcy. He's not a stranger, he's someone people thought they knew. But this man has a terrifying obsession, and soon his obsession turns deadly. One by one, women disappear, only to be found later, their eyes removed with precise surgical skill. Who was this man, and what drove him to commit such horrifying crimes? This is the story of Charles Albright, the Eyeball. Stay with us as we dive into this haunting tale. Chapter 1. The Beginnings of a Strange Man. Charles Albright wasn't always known as a He was born in 1933 and adopted as a young child by a couple in Dallas. His adoptive mother, Della, was strict and demanding. She pushed Charles to excel in school, helping him skip grades and expecting him to be perfect. But while she wanted the best for him, her intense control over Charles created a deep anger inside him. As a young boy, Charles developed a very strange interest. He was fascinated with eyes. He would remove the eyes from dolls and carefully examine them, keeping them as trophies. His parents thought it was a harmless obsession, just a child's curiosity. But as he grew, this obsession with eyes became something darker, something much more disturbing. Could this strange fascination be a sign of the terrible things to come? Chapter 2. The Making of a Criminal. Charles's childhood was only the beginning. As he grew up, he began breaking the law. At just 13 years old, he became a petty thief, stealing small items. But it didn't stop there. By 16, he was in jail for armed robbery. After his release, he tried to lead a normal life, even attending college and eventually getting married. But he couldn't stay out of trouble. He forged documents, faked college degrees, and pretended to be someone he wasn't. He would lie and cheat his way through life. Over time, he got involved in more serious crimes, but somehow he kept avoiding real punishment. He spent a little time in jail here and there, but was always released early. Even when he was caught molesting a young girl, he managed to avoid a long prison sentence. Charles had become a master manipulator, skilled at hiding his dark side from the world. Was he just a clever trickster, or was something far more dangerous hiding inside him? Chapter 3. The Obsession Grows. In 1985, Charles met a woman named Dixie, and they began living together. Dixie was unaware of his dark side, and even supported him financially. Charles found the perfect cover for his late-night activities. He took a job as a newspaper delivery driver. Now, he had an excuse to be out in the early hours of the morning, roaming the streets. But he wasn't just delivering newspapers. He was visiting Dallas's underworld, meeting women on the streets, and living out his strange fantasies. His fascination with eyes had only grown stronger. By now, he wasn't just interested in looking at eyes. He wanted to possess them. The darkness inside him was building, and he was getting closer to letting it out in the worst way possible. But when would this dark obsession cross the line into real violence? Chapter 4. The First Killing Mary Lou Pratt. On December 13, 1990, Dallas police found the body of Mary Lou Pratt, a well-known woman in the Oak Cliff neighborhood. Mary was found lying on the ground, shot in the back of the head. But when the medical examiner looked closely, he discovered something chilling. Mary's eyes were gone. They had been removed with incredible precision, as if by a surgeon. This wasn't a random crime. Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing, and they had left behind a horrifying message. The police were shocked. They had never seen anything like this before. Removing someone's eyes was strange enough, but doing it with such skill showed that the killer had planned this carefully. He knew what he wanted, but the the horror was only beginning. Was this just a one-time crime, or would the killer strike again? Chapter 5. More bodies appear. 2 months later, on February 10, 1991, another body was found. This time, it was Susan Peterson, a woman with a similar background to Mary Lou. She, too, had been shot multiple times, her body left on display, and, just like Mary Lou, her eyes were gone. Police were now certain they had a serial killer on their hands. They gave him a name, the Eyeball. But the nightmare didn't end there. Only a month later, on March 18, another body turned up. This time, it was Shirley Williams, found near an elementary school. The scene was hauntingly similar, shot to death, bruised, and with her eyes removed. Dallas was now in a state of fear. Women in the area felt unsafe, and the police were under immense pressure to find this killer before he struck again. Could anyone be safe in Dallas with the Eyeball Killer still on the loose? Chapter 6. The Hunt for the Eyeball. With 3 murders now linked, police began to focus on finding any clues. People who lived in the area were questioned, and soon a name began to surface: Charles Albright. Known for his strange love of eyes, Albright quickly became the main suspect. Investigators searched his home, and they found strands of hair that matched those at the crime scenes. Although there wasn't much physical evidence, the pieces were starting to fit together. Finally, on March 22, 1991, Charles Albright was arrested. But the people of Dallas still felt uneasy. The murders had shocked everyone, and many wondered if this was really the end. Would Charles be found guilty, or could he talk his way out of punishment once again? Chapter 7. The Trial of Charles Albright. The trial began on December 13, 1991. It was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Would the man known as the Eyeball Killer face justice? The trial wasn't easy for the prosecutors. Most of the evidence was circumstantial. Nothing directly tied Albright to the murders. But the forensic evidence, including hairs found at the crime scenes, helped to build the case against him. The jury listened to stories of Albright's fascination with eyes, his history of lying and cheating, and the terrifying murders of the 3 women. After days of testimony and evidence, the jury made their decision. On December 18, Charles Albright was found guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison, and Dallas could finally breathe a sigh of relief. But was this truly the end of the Eyeball Killer, or would new horrors emerge in the years to come? Chapter 8. A city marked by fear. The murders stopped, but the scars remained. For years, people in Dallas spoke in hushed voices about the Eyeball Killer. Women were more cautious. Parents kept a closer eye on their children, and the dark memories lingered. People wondered if there could be others out there like Charles Albright, hiding behind normal lives, but harboring terrifying secrets. Could another Eyeball Killer exist in the shadows, waiting to strike? Was Charles Albright the only one with such a dark obsession, or could others like him be hiding in plain sight? Stay with us for the next video, where we'll explore the chilling possibility of more killers with terrifying fixations and the signs that might reveal them.